Is it unrealistic to build a 2,000 square foot furnished house from Legos? And I'm wondering right away. I'm wondering about why the square footage? Why the choice of 2,000? If you're going to make a fucking Lego house, you're going to make a Lego mansion. Make it bigger. Is it unrealistic to build a 2,000 square foot furnished house from Legos? And then I have another question. Is the furnishing made of Legos as well? Also, which direction are all the Legos pointed? Because you can't have Legos pointed up. You're going to have to wear fucking flippy floppies. You're going to have to wear a shoe of some sort in the house. It's not sanitary to walk around in shoes all the time. Right now, I've got no shoes on. I got the feets. I got the foots, underneath this desk. Is it unrealistic? I don't think anything's unrealistic in that regard. You could definitely build a 2,000 square foot Lego house, especially if you got like super glue and you keep all that shit together. I think the problem lies in which way the Legos are pointed, which you would naturally think that they're pointed straight up. But then if you walk around the house with no shoes, you're going to be walking on a bunch of Legos. So what hurts more? A pile of Legos that are broken apart? Or Legos that are standing up, so the fucking top parts, the little bumps on the top. Does that hurt? What hurts more? I don't think it's unrealistic. It's like, how long are you going to live there, and what's the value of that? Like, does the value of a 2,000 square foot house coincide with the current housing market, which is a seller's market, not a buyer's market? I just don't know. That's a hard question. Thank you, though. Thank you for that submission. The next question coming in is, what can I do to shut up my neighbor's tiny yapping dog? Wait, what can I do to shut my neighbor's tiny yapping dog up? That is a tough question. I would say you could go and talk to them. You could go and talk to them and say your little fucking tiny yapping dog needs to shut the fuck up. I don't got an answer for that, like a really great answer off the top of my head. I think you could break its fucking neck, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't break its fucking neck. You could break its fucking neck, but don't break its fucking neck. You could, you can do all kinds of stuff that I'm not going to get into. I think this is a loaded question. I don't want to answer. Make friends with the tiny yapping dog. Maybe give him a little treat or something. Make him happy. Maybe it's you. Maybe you got sensitive ears. Stay in your house. Stay in your house. Don't worry about that tiny yapping dog. The next question is, what would it be like if people grew antlers starting tomorrow? First question, why does it have to be tomorrow? Could be any day. But if they grew antlers tomorrow, I think it'd be an interesting spectacle. I'd be like, this is the exact face I would make, and you got to watch the videos to understand. I'd be like, what? Like, what the fuck is happening? And that depends. If I'm growing antlers and I'm like, fuck, what's coming out of my fucking head? And then I look, I'm like, you got it too? And then I look around and it's like, everybody's growing antlers. What the fuck? One of the weird things that I think we'd all have to get used to of that is when the velvet is there and you're scraping it off on trees. You're like, God, my fucking head is itchy. Like when your head's itchy, if you were wearing a hat a lot or something like that, and you're like, fuck, and it feels good. And then like the same thing, you're like walking up to trees, you're like, hold on, Jeffrey, and you're like walking over, you're like, you fucking like, you're scraping off the skin, and you're like screaming. I think that's what it would be like. It would be like that. Best guess. I don't really know, but that's what you'd have to take people used to take smoke breaks. You'd be like, I'd have to take a fucking, whatever that is called, when they're fucking scraping their antlers against fucking trees and stuff. Next question. One extremity has to go completely numb for what is it? It has to go complete. It's hard when there's multiple lines. There's no commas or anything. One extremity has to go completely numb for life. What do you choose? Well, it's tough because if you hurt any part of your body, you're going to be like, it hurts when I do this. And like that part hurts. It's like every part of you touches something, whether you know it or not. So if I'm thinking about what part goes numb and it has no, I guess it would be an organ or something because you don't feel your organs. But if you're talking extremity, fuck. I'm trying to see because I got some numbness. I think maybe this part, like the fucking forearm or something. Like, do you really need to feel shit with your forearms? Or is this question saying is your full fucking extremity? Like, it aren't, like, there's your cock and balls, your fucking nipples, maybe the nipples. That's an extremity. I'm calling it my nipples. I don't give a fuck if I feel them. In fact, it's inconvenient when they get sensitive and whatnot. So, nipples. But also, like, if I could walk my feet, I would, it's hard. Maybe my pinky. I don't need my fucking pinky. Next question. Do you think albino midgets exist like real life goblins? Well, that's a little rough. What? Yeah, I think albino midgets exist. You don't really see them, though. I don't know the correlation between, like, with real life goblins. Do I think that real life goblins exist? I think there's full grown people that are fucking goblins. In fact, I've called some goblins. I've called people specifically gargoyles. I think gargoyles exist. I don't know why I call them that. I think it's like a term for a really fucking hideous person. Albino midgets. I'm sure there's an albino midget. So, next question. Your confidence level in killing, butchering, and cooking a wild pig. Okay, this is a good question, and I think I can answer this correctly. Killing, I could do it. Butchering, I'd fucking destroy that shit. I have butchered multiple animals in survival situations, even animals I've hunted. I'm not good at it. As far as cooking the wild pig, I think I'd be horrible at it. I think people would get sick because I have heard you can put fire to a fucking wild pig, and you can cook it. But wild pigs, and speaking of which, I'm in Arkansas. There's a lot of fucking pigs here. They got worms and shit. So I think the other question is, after cooking the fucking wild pig, would people get sick? And I think 100%. I don't know. I'm good at killing shit, not so much at the other part. I just don't know enough about the butchering part. I just feel like you like rip shit off. Like when I got rabbits, I just was like pulling limbs off and shit. I was like cutting through it with a fucking ripping off limbs and cooking that. Cooked the rabbit fine. Nobody got sick. But I think a pig is a little bit different. Okay, this is the one that I hit him up. I was like, what the fuck you want me to talk about? Like, what is this? A topic of conversation? This is the skin that hangs off of old people's chins and necks. And that's all it says. It doesn't say anything specific about what he's fucking talking about. But I guess in the spirit of the Violent Professional Podcast and me as a person and what I can do with these fucking things in my brain, I'll just talk about it. Let me get a sip of beer. This is going to be a good one. I find it very odd, the part specifically. The fucking how it's usually like your esophagus is right here in the center, but then it's like I feel like my neck's tight and I'm never gonna like get this part where like skin just grows extra around the rest of my fucking neck and shit and has to slide down the fucking sides of my fucking head and neck until it's like gravity's so long that hard, like pulling so hard that it pulls over two flaps. It's two fucking flaps that go around the fucking side of your esophagus. Now, mind you, the fucking center esophagus is completely clear, like it's completely taut. The rest of it is like, you could have the smoothest skin on the side, but then these old motherfuckers got these two flappy flaps, and they're fucking just hanging there. They're fucking hanging. What are they hanging for? It always reminds me of fucking two beefy fucking vagina lips just fucking. And so, like, it begs the question, could you fuck the old people's necks? If I spit on it a little bit, could I fucking put my penis inside of those flaps, and how would it feel? Would it feel very much like a human vagina? That's That's what my question is after this topic of discussion, because there's no guidance. There's no statement that guides me into the discussion. It just says the skin that hangs off of old people's chins and neck. And here's the other part. Does the woman neck skin feel the same as the man neck skin? Would I be able to tell, like if I was in a dark closet and there was just an old person hanging out in there, and they're all fucking hot and bothered, but their nether regions don't work. And they're like, I'm super horny. I'm super old. I need you to fuck my fucking neck skin. But you're like, I can't tell if you're man or woman because you have a very gruff voice. You know, the furry fur chin on that you have could be an old lady that hasn't shaved. She hasn't shorn her fucking old person chin. You know, old people get that little furry, the... Not by the hair of my hair, chin chin. They have the fucking chinny chin going on, and so like you can't tell. So like maybe their voice sounds the same. Maybe they got the hairy chin, and you fucking stick your fucking smooth cock inside of that, and you're like, what would it feel like? I've never fucked an old person neck gobbler before, but I just wonder if the man feels the same and the woman feels the same, because they're all frail and shit. And then, like I said, they got the fucking hairy chin. Who knows? I don't. If you've done this before, this exact scenario, please leave a comment below and tell me if fucking old people vagina neck skin feels just like a human vagina.